I didn't get any sleep last night, and that's because I'm really excited about this road trip that I'm going to be taking. I'm going to be heading out tomorrow. I'm going to be going east from British Columbia across Canada. And I'll be making some videos on the way. I don't have any set itinerary or plan. I don't find that works for me. I like to make it up as I go along. Anyway, that's beside the point. The point of this video is roughly every 10 messages that are sent to me contain within them something to the effect of I'm an atheist as well, and I would really like to start making YouTube videos. Where should I start? Do you have any advice? I don't know what your motivations are necessarily for making the videos, but I think actually on this occasion I can guess the motivation of most of the people who send me messages. I can guess that their motivation of wanting to make videos, which is that they feel passionate about the subject, they want to get involved, and they feel utterly isolated where they live. They don't have anybody that they can have a mental rapport with at all. They think they're the only ones in their village or their town, and they never are. If you think you have an unpopular opinion, people will tend to be quiet about it because they don't want to be singled out, and they don't want to have the social pressure of the community upon them. But if you happen to be the first one to stand up, you may be very surprised to see a few other people put their hands up in the crowd who thought that they were the only one. They were the only atheists in the town, the village. And it's very interesting to see the looks on the other people's faces who are not atheists, to be surprised that, ooh, look, there are atheists around. Maybe we don't have such a monopoly on the town that we thought we did. That's one reason why it is important to speak up. People are concerned about actually appearing in their videos themselves, and I just wanted to say you don't have to do that. You don't actually have to appear and talk in the videos. You can do text videos. Almost every computer, like PC computer, has a Movie Maker that comes already installed in it, and it's very intuitive and easy to use. And I don't mean like it's easy to use, but it's actually not. I mean it actually is easy to use. Some people like to use scripts when they do videos. I don't, even though the points I'm making would be a hell of a lot more eloquent if I did use scripts. I find that I've done it once or twice and they're completely flat videos. I was editing one once where I used a script and I phased out. The only person I've ever known who can pull off a monotone script or a fairly monotone script is ZJ. And that works because she's ZJ with the John Lennon glasses and the feather boa. It's just the coolest thing in the world. I don't know why. I don't know why it only works for her, but it does. Bottom line, make videos that you would want to see, not what you think other people want to see. There are people who are willing to sit and spend their time reasonably debating with people for hours on end in the hopes that they actually might change their minds. And that is hugely commendable. You don't even know how much. I'm so glad you exist, the people who are willing to do that. I'm so happy that you do. I can't do that, but I can do other things. I'm the kind of person that another atheist will come to after they've been talking for 3 hours in circles with somebody and have got nowhere, and just goes, I can't fucking stand it anymore. This is driving me up the fucking wall. And I go, yeah, I know. I'm impressed you're able to keep it up for that long. Let's go get a beer. Let's go and unwind. Do something else. Take your mind off it. Another very overlooked thing. People are naturally prone to feeling very uncomfortable when somebody else gets angry with them, even if it's over the internet, even if it's somebody that they don't know at all and will probably never meet. For the majority of the time we've been human beings, we've probably lived in groups of about 100. So if somebody has a problem with you, it's a real problem. Now, it's a little irrelevant sometimes when it comes to the internet, because you're hooked in to not 100 people, you're hooked into 100 million people, you're hooked into 1 billion people. When you first start a YouTube channel, you'll be prone to getting hit by more belligerent trolls that will stick around for a while. That's normal. For some reason, they don't tend to stick around the big channels. It doesn't matter how irrelevant you know the trolls are, they'll still kind of get to you. It takes practice. It actually takes exposure therapy. And the thing is, when you start a YouTube channel, you'll respond to the trolls. You'll respond to probably most of them. And it'll get to a point, at some point, you'll engage with somebody in a conversation, a very long one, who you knew from the beginning wasn't really that interested in having a discussion or debate or, you know, a healthy exchange of ideas. It was, no, I'm right, you're wrong, no, I'm right, you're wrong, no, I'm right, you're wrong, no, I'm right, you're wrong. And it'll go up to maybe 3 hours, as it did the day when I developed a new level of humor about myself. It will be when you've made no progress and you're just annoyed and pissed off at the sheer pig-headedness of somebody else on the internet, and who you would have absolutely no desire to be friends with, and who is now actually managed to piss you off. And then you realize, holy fuck, I've just spent 3 hours arguing with a total dickhead on YouTube. I have shit to do. And then it hits you. I am the idiot. The joke's on me. I could have left that conversation that I knew wasn't going anywhere, that I've had 50 times with other people before, and I didn't. And that's when the laughter kicks in. Mentally, you kind of rise above and get a bird's eye view of the situation. And then you start to be able to absorb what some people would think is shocking stuff with genuine humor. And I mean genuine. It's not like you're laughing and you feel slightly ill and freaked out about it. I mean, it's genuinely fucking funny. There's that part of your brain which sees the angry comment or the antagonistic comment, and the part of your brain that feels the urge to react. With time and exposure, I'm just drawing a map of how it feels for it. It feels like the connection between those parts of the brain gets wider, and it feels like there's a greater intercept point between when you see somebody being aggressive or expressing anger and the part of your brain that reacts emotionally. There's like this, after about 6 months, you get 1 extra second where you can intercept that and go, and it genuinely mean it, not go, what an asshole, but carry on and you're still pissed off. I mean, genuinely go, they're angry. Now here's an added benefit from that exposure therapy that I hadn't counted on, which is that you can apply it to real life. I'll give you an example. When I was in San Francisco, I was doing my laundry. I was going in and out of my car, taking, laundry back and forth. I was sort of humming quietly to myself. There was a guy I noticed, I think he was thumping the floorboard of his truck because he was fiddling with his cell phone, and he was clearly annoyed, and I happened to notice that, and then I forgot it. He was parked next to me. I went back to my car to get another little laundry, opened the car door, I bumped his car. The way he reacted was so over the top that it actually stunned me to silence for a moment, and he had a little rant for about 4 or 5 seconds. Now here's the thing. In that time, I stayed still, and I was looking at him. He said something along the lines, "Hey, don't bump my fucking car, take the paint off, will you? Just God damn it." The sort of usual rant. Be fucking careful. And in that time, it gave me 1 second to realize this guy has had a really shit day. And there's other stuff that's gone wrong with his day, probably before I got here, because this is an overreaction to the stimuli that just happened. Anyway, knowing that allowed me to choose how I'm going to react. I had that second where I can intercept that automatic angry reaction. And it was brilliant, because I just looked at him, and I said, I maintained eye contact. I didn't look down or away or be ashamed. I made eye contact with him. I said, I'll try to be more careful. And I maintained it for about 1 or 2 seconds, and I smiled, and I carried on, and I took my laundry inside, and just to rub a little salt into the wound, I was quietly humming to myself as I came back and got another load out. And you could tell from his expression he was absolutely stunned. And as I came back from the laundry, I see him thumping the floorboard of his car even more, and he chucked his phone into the dashboard and drove off. He was looking for somebody who he could take his shit out on for the day. Somebody who just gave him just enough of an excuse to really have a go at them. I thought about it a good 20 minutes later, and I realized that I wasn't angry. An encounter like that would have probably, encounters like that, just accidents, weird things like that, can piss people off all day long. It can really set a shit mood for the rest of their day. That somebody, they had an encounter and tempers got flared really quickly and then went down again. Somebody you didn't know who just sort of shocked you. And it occurred to me that I would have probably felt shooken up about that. And it was 20 minutes later and I wasn't. I'm not annoyed. I don't mean, oh, I'm not annoyed that asshole didn't get to me, meaning that you are annoyed but you're pretending you're not. I mean, I was genuinely fine. So that is an applied skill that I learned from taking shit from people on YouTube. And if you put the time and effort into it, I would imagine that most people could develop it as well, but it depends on what your list of priorities are for your lifetime. It doesn't mean that you just disregard everybody's opinions. It means that you have a little bit of time to analyze them before you emotionally react to it. It's something that you have to keep in mind every time you see a negative comment. Is this one worth reacting to? Sometimes it is just... sometimes it's fun. I'm not saying don't react to every dickhead or troll that comes through. Sometimes it can be genuinely fun. But if you're not having fun, if you don't feel a sense of fulfillment when you're on YouTube, if you don't feel a sense of achievement, if you're on YouTube and feeling annoyed most of the time, don't do YouTube videos. It's not worth it. The important thing, if you have somebody who's annoying you, getting you distracted, don't respond. You don't need to. Don't get distracted from the point of being there by some dick who just wants to waste your time. Don't worry about it. Just get on with what you were doing. Doesn't matter if they keep trying to poke you. Just don't worry about it, okay? I mean, who are they to you? Don't worry about it. Don't get bogged down by shit that just annoys you. Get on and do what you meant to do in the first place. A very important aspect in terms of being vocal about your atheism is that you can then connect and have a kind of mental rapport that you probably can't have with maybe anybody that you would meet personally on an everyday in the street. It's very important for your mental health and well-being, your happiness, to be able to have mental rapport with people who you can relate to.